Good morning. Welcome to Lake Mary Toastmasters. Everyone got their winter weather gear going? Yes. At this time, silence your noise-making devices, lest you become a victim yourself. And would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Our club mission is to provide a supportive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Please welcome this morning your Toastmaster, our Sergeant at Arms, Alexandra B.
Thank you. Good morning, Lake Mary Toastmasters.
Good morning.
Woohoo! Thank you. I'm truly honored to be your Toastmaster this morning. I will do my best to keep a clandestine meeting. However, that is almost impossible when the meeting is being recorded. Our theme today is New Year's traditions and superstitions. Now, before we start with our traditions and superstitions, I would like to introduce our amazing technical table. This morning we have as a grammarian, Nicole. Nicole, please tell us what
As grammarian, it is my function to select a word of the day to help build members' vocabularies. Each member, when called upon to speak, is encouraged to use the word of the day. Other members may gently rap on the table when they hear a member use the word. The word of the day is clandestine. It means it's characterized by done in or executed with secrecy or concealment, especially for purposes of subversion or deception, private or surreptitious. Example, their clandestine meetings went undiscovered for 2 years, and I would propose a question. What clandestine activities will you participate this New Year's?
Thank you. And we follow with our timer this morning. Hattie, please tell us what our timer do.
My function as timer is to time the speakers, evaluators, and table topic participants, Diane, to ensure they meet the timing requirements. I'll demonstrate the timing lights, which will be displayed as follows. So for Lamar, green means 4 minutes, yellow means 5, red means 6. Martin, green means 5, yellow means 6, and red means 7. Diane, green means 12, yellow means 13, and red means 14.
Thank you, Hattie. And this morning we have our beautiful counter. Lori, please tell us what a counter is.
As odd counter, it is my clandestine function for use of filler words such as no, so, okay, and other audible pauses as fillers. I'll be noting if members perform any double clutches, which means to say things twice, such as this means, that means. Finally, I will include things which might be distracting as lip smacks. I'll present my report during the evaluation portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Lori. Looking at the agenda this morning, we have a very tight one. I don't believe we need to make any changes. Perfect.
I just have a comment. Can we get a sentence with the word of the day?
Fantastic. Great question. Nicole?
A sentence.
I gave one.
Oh, that's a sentence?
Yeah.
They're clandestine.
I did the same thing. I did the same thing.
Clandestine meetings went undiscovered for 2 years. Got it. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Clandestine statement there.
Should just give her the
once you know to the truly bizarre ones you have never heard of, here are the top New Year's traditions and superstitions in America. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Countdown.
Guess what is the first one?
Making New Year's
Midnight. Kissing. Kissing at midnight. New Year's Eve ranks second behind Valentine's Day as the worst day to be single. Because when the clock strikes midnight, what everybody does? Smooching, kissing. What is the meaning? What is the meaning of the kiss at midnight? The New Year's Eve kiss is a symbol that your affection and closeness will last the whole year. If you happen to be alone at midnight, kissing the dog or the cat will certainly work. We are going to start, because we have such a tight agenda this morning with amazing speakers, we are going to start the first part of the meeting, designed for prepared speeches. This morning we have 3 speakers. Each of the speeches has been prepared in advance, and we'll have a time limit depending on the Toastmaster manual they're working on. Our first speaker is going to give us a brief summary of his life since college. From the Competent Communication Manual, project number 1, the icebreaker, Voices in My Head. Please help me welcome Lamar Williams. Thank you.
Well, Toastmasters, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, I have these voices in my head. Yeah, crazy guy, right? But we actually all have these voices in our head, and they guide many of our life decisions. But these voices in my head, you might think an angel and a devil. I think a little differently. Remember the movie Jerry Maguire? What's the famous phrase in Jerry Maguire?
Show me the money.
Show me the money. That's right here. That's the little guy over here. Then there's another voice came from my previous relationships, my ex-girlfriends. Anytime I did anything selfish, they say it's not all about me. But of course, the girls I dated in my life, it's just not all about me. They say, right here, finger like this, it's not all about you, Lamar. Like, all right. I get it. So voice number 2 in my head is, my ex-girlfriends. It's not all about you. So to play this role, I want to play the voices in my head. I want you guys to play this part for me, okay? So anytime I go like this, I want you to say, show me the money, okay? Okay. Anytime I go like this, I want to say, it's not all about you. All right, so let's get started. So I'm going to start in college. I was living the life, ramen noodles, hot dogs, dollars on the menu, living a really healthy life. But I was at work at a jewelry store. I was paying my way through college. And I was approached by this lady one day. I said, Lamar, you're a great guy. I really like you. I would like to work for my bank. I pay your tuition. I said,
Show me the money.
All right, not too bad. So our year passes, and I was approached by another recruiter. Said, Lamar, I really like you. How about you become a financial manager for my bank? I pay your tuition and increase your wage. Like,
Show me the money.
Fantastic. When do I start? Another year passes. I graduated college at this time. The stock market was doing well. If your credit score was 0, you could buy a house. Everyone was making money. Then I was approached by another hiring manager. Said, Lamar, what you're doing is small time. You need to work for my investment firm. How about I pay for your license and you come work for me? I said,
Show me the money.
Yeah. Then another year passes. The stock market is not doing as well. Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns, Wachovia, they no longer exist. And it seems like everybody was kind of losing their shirt. Then I was approached by another hiring manager. I said, Lamar, you're a great guy. I really like you. How about you come work for me? I guarantee you have a stable job, and I also pay for that master's degree you always wanted. I said, huh,
Show me the money.
great. When do I start? Now, 7 years passed, and I really had to sit down with Jerry Maguire voice in my head. I said, Jerry Maguire voice, you're driving me crazy. You're giving me gray hairs, my hairline's receding, and I'm just not happy. You need to be replaced. And I picked up this book one day, and it was called The Purpose-Driven Life. And get what's the quote in the first quote I saw in that book?
It's not all about you.
Can you believe it? I can't hear my ex-girlfriends. They're always in my head. So, all right, voice number 2 in my head, I'm going to give you a shot. So let's try this. So I was approached by a friend of mine. I said, Lamar, you're a great fellow. I think you'd be great working with kids. I'll become a mentor for Big Brother and Big Sister. I said, I'm no role model. Then the voice number 2 pops up and said,
It's not
about you.
I'm like, all right, I'll do it. Then I approached by another friend of mine, so Lamar, I'm looking to start a summer camp for kids. How about you come to me to California and get some training on how to do that? I said, what do I know about starting a summer camp for kids? Then voice number 2 said,
It's not all about you.
all right, let's go. Then I was approached by another friend of mine. He said, Lamar, I heard you study leadership. You know quite a bit about it. How about you teach a class? I was like, I'm a banker. I don't know anything about teaching classes. Then voice number 2, of course, pops up and said,
It's not all about you.
You got it, my friend. I'll do it. Then I was approached by another friend of mine. He said, Lamar, you know quite a bit about finances. You could really help a lot of people if you became a financial advisor. You could make less money and do more work. Okay. Voice number 2 pops up.
It's not all about you.
All right, let's do this. So I really had to sit down with voice number 2 in my head. I said, voice number 2, you're overworking me. I'm getting paid less. But I'm really enjoying my time. Thank you. But it's now 6 o'clock in the evening, and you're getting flicked off my shoulder. So at this time, what I like to do is I like to sit down, put my feet up, put on SportsCenter, and have a big box of macadamia cookies. Then my girlfriend sits next to me, and guess what she says to me? Lamar, you're a great fellow. How about you give me a cookie? You know what I said?
It's all about you.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Very, very nice, Lamar. We have 1 minute for evaluations.
You just need the tickets. What? Just need the tickets, yeah.
Dig in those pockets and get those singles out for when those tickets come back. Everyone should tips.
You heard my sex speech, you can manage.
Minute up.
Uh-oh.
Guess what is the second most popular New Year traditions and superstitions? So we have kissing at midnight. The second is eat, eat, and eat. We have a mic right here.
Eat, drink, and be merry.
Eating black-eyed peas and greens. I remember this one the most from other years, and I remember eating them. They're very, very good, the black-eyed peas and greens. Yes. Eating them brings good luck. Not good luck, good luck.
Good looks.
Well, maybe that
Probably
one
better
too.
luck with good looks with that.
And financial prosperity. You are to eat the peas with greens for prosperity. The peas represent good luck, and the greens represent Show the money.
It's not all about
Our second speaker will share with us about some food we should be aware as we prepare for the new year. From the Competent Communication Manual, delivering project number 6, Vocal Variety, Habits for 2015. Please help me welcome Martin Bell.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and good morning and happy holidays, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. Today, in keeping in line with the holidays and preparing for the new year and for 2015, I thought it would be great for us all to take a few moments and reflect. To take a few moments and reflect upon our habits. And what is a habit? According to the dictionary, it's a usual manner of behavior that's regularly followed. A usual manner of behavior regularly followed. Most likely, it's something that we do perhaps every day, each and every day, without even thinking about it. Not even giving it a second thought. And so, what habits have we gotten ourselves into that are leading us perhaps down a road we'd rather not follow? Maybe there's a road or a path for 2015 that we can put ourselves on by changing our habits. Maybe letting go of some habits and maybe acquiring some new habits. So let's think about how we start our day. How do most of us start our day? The alarm clock goes, right? Ring, ring. How does it go? Any other sounds?
Wake up, it's not all about you.
Dogs licking your
Not all about you. First thing in the morning, right? Well, a habit that I acquired after obtaining my cell phone that I got myself into was to immediately, upon hearing the alarm, check my personal emails, check my messages, even check my work emails. Oh my God, what has happened since last night that I need to be aware of immediately before I get into the shower? I don't know how many junk emails I deleted before having my breakfast. What a terrible habit. I didn't even give myself a chance to enjoy the morning. Fortunately, that's no longer a habit. And so perhaps we can reflect on how we start our day. Perhaps you've heard of attitude of gratitude. I've started my days now with an attitude of gratitude. And so before getting into the shower, before having my breakfast, I'll just lie there and think for a few moments. And it's kind of like celebrating Thanksgiving each and every day without the turkey. Just taking a moment to be thankful for one or two or three things. Maybe it's the clients that I'm going to meet that day. I'm happy they're providing me with work. Maybe it's health. I'm not sick. I'm not in the hospital. I'm in my house. I feel good. Maybe it's a new friend, or maybe it's a new group like Toastmasters that I look forward to going to that day or that week. How many of us commute to work? Anybody not commute to work? Very few. Okay. Have you ever been cut off by someone weaving in and out of traffic? No one?
Every
You are?
Every time, yeah.
Chances are, if it was in Seminole County, that may have been me. I was, and sometimes still am, that guy. Always trying to find the best lane to get to work as fast as possible. And I could care less if you were honking at me from behind. Because I was going to get to work a little bit ahead of schedule. That was a habit. I've changed that habit, and now you'll usually see me coasting in the right lane. Chilling. And I don't really care if you cut me off. Because I'm chilling. That's my new habit. And what led me to that habit? Well, what are we listening to each and every day?
The news.
I'm a huge fan of dance music. Techno, all right? House. I've been to Ibiza a couple times. Love going to South Beach with my wife, having a great time. I just ran into a friend of mine who I hadn't seen in 3 years, and he says, Marty, you remember that time you drove us to Atlanta when we both got new jobs in Atlanta? I said, no, that was like 7 years ago. Why would I remember that? He's like, you don't remember? For 7 hours, we were listening to dooms, 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 dooms. I figured you'd turn it off or change it, but no. Dooms, 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 for 7 hours to Atlanta. So wow. I didn't realize how much that was getting me just too stressed. So now I've got CDs of Bossa Nova from Brazil. My wife and I joined the Florida Jazz Society, listening to jazz. So I'm just chilling now. Listening to some smooth jazz, listening to some Bossa Nova, and I'm not that guy cutting you off. Third, yes, what are we watching? You know, what are we filling our minds and heads with? Perhaps in the evening as we get home from work and relax.
News. Bad news.
Yeah, you know, I was one of those guys. Here I am, 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. I turn home. My wife gets home and she's like, what are you doing again? She couldn't even be in the same room. And it's either one of the news channels, right? So it's either blah, 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 Obama. Blah, 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 Hillary. Blah, blah, and on the other side, blah, 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 Bush. Right? Blah, 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 Cheney. Oh my God. I've stopped that habit. If it's not making me laugh, right? Or if it's not entertaining in a sports manner, I'm probably not in the habit of watching that anymore. So I ask us all again to reflect. What habits do we have that perhaps we can let go of? What are some new habits for 2015? These are things that we're probably not thinking of at all, because we're just so accustomed to them. We do these things each and every day. We start our days with these habits. We finish our days with these habits. What are some of the things that we can change as we look forward to a brand new year? And I'll just finish up by asking everyone, how many times have you laughed today? So far, so good. We've all had our fair share of laughs, thanks to Lamar. And that's one thing I think we can all do, is laugh a little bit more. And in keeping in line with the holidays and the Christmas spirit, and for those of us that have cell phones and YouTube, one of my favorite things to do around Christmas is to check up the YouTube, go to Saturday Night Live, and look up I Wish It Was Christmas Today. That song gets me every time. The little jingle. I wish it was Christmas today. You'll laugh when you see it. Thanks everybody. Happy New Year.
Amazing job, Martin. 1 minute for evaluation.
It does sound
Yes.
Two sides. What happens when you put a teacher up? Oh, big old no, smart to get swag. Think they're going to school with it? Never.
4 o'clock, huh?
1 minute off. It seems that we are ahead of the schedule, which is good, by 2 minutes.
Perfect.
Perfect. Well, since we are 2 minutes ahead, tickets, I don't have the box, I'm not the ticket master. Who's the ticket master this morning? Gus is the ticket master.
Way to go, Gus.
What's the amount? What are these?
$10 1 ticket, 3 tickets, $2, $5, 8 tickets. How many tickets is that? There we go.
8 tickets.
So 1 ticket over here. 8 tickets. What a good way to start by gambling.
We have
I
like
need
one
a
more
lot more
minute.
money because I haven't bought my Christmas presents yet.
Oh no, this is.
Okay, you're gonna look around.
Yeah, we'll have $5. Who's this?
Erika. No, the $1 is Erika.
I don't know, thank you.
Okay, I think that, Julia, 5?
Yes.
Julia, 5, the, $5. Okay, hold on. Julia, get out your tickets. Now we need to move on.
Yeah.
Our third speaker is going to be talking about goal settings and planning. Great leaders are not born. They are made. They begin with a vision of where they want to go, and then they get there. Today we are going to find out how they did it and how each of us can get there too. Our next speaker will give us a step-by-step instructions on how we can create our own vision and turn it into a reality. Please welcome competent communicator Diane Manikowski as she presents Goals and Planning, a unit from the Toastmasters Leadership Skill Series. Thank you.
I remember 10 minutes. Great leaders are born, they're not made. Ronald Reagan, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Pope Francis, Rupert Murdoch. What do they all have in common? Well, we might all think that they have some clandestine process for getting where they are. However, that's not true. What they have is they all had a vision, and they found a way to become what they wanted to be. They all set a goal of what they wanted to have, and they got it. They all had a plan of how they wanted to get there, and they followed it. And they all had the determination to follow through, overcome all of the obstacles, and they succeeded. Now, maybe none of us want to be a religious leader, maybe we don't want to be a politician, the president of the United States, a big business magnate, but do we all want to have success in our careers? Do we want success in our families? Do we want our children to look at us and be a successful parent? Well, what are your companies looking for in you? What are your spouses looking for in you? What are your children looking for in you? They're looking for a strong, confident leader who's driving the train. Do you want to have professional, personal, or even spiritual growth that we design? Do we want to have that? Do you want to be the engineer or the passenger? Well, if you say, I want to be the engineer, then you're in the right place. We make excuses about how and when we're going to start to do our goals and to figure out what we want to be, and we think that's enough. But it's not enough. We think we're going to be off the hook if we just say we're going to do it. But we're not off the hook. We are accountable. And though there never seems to be a right time to start anything, we always have ways to procrastinate. This is the right time. Hop on and we're going to start chugging along. Do you all remember when you were a kid, or if you all have kids, how you used to say, oh, I'm going to be a firefighter, I'm going to be a policeman, I'm going to be the President of the United States. I'm going to be rich and famous. I'm going to be an actress. And they wanted to do all of those above things at the same time. Well, we all said it. All our kids say it. That's because we start out with something called vision. They have a vision. They see where they want to be sometime in the future. And somewhere along the line, a few of us have forgotten that we need to have that vision to put us where we want to be. We need to have those voices on our shoulder to get us where we need to go. How would you like to guide your life? What would you like to change in your life? Now I'm going to be asking you these questions. And I have given you a handout out here. I want you to start thinking about it because I have a little activity for everybody at the end. I want you to think about what one thing you would change in your life. New Year's resolutions are coming up. You know we always do New Year's resolutions and we always fail at them. And I'm going to tell you why we failed and why we're not going to fail this time. So picture the goal. Picture the end. Picture walking up the mountain. Step by step by step. Get up to the top. What do you want to see? Picture sliding down the rainbow. Getting to the bottom. What do you want to see? What do you want to see when you wake up 6 months from now? Who do you want to be? Well, that's the next process. You get your vision. Start with your vision. And the next thing you do is you record your vision. How do you do that? That's with your goal. That picture that you see in the front of you, 6 months, a year down the line, 10 years down the line, that is the goal that you're trying to get to. And there's a lot of ways to do that. And today we're going to talk about how to set a goal, how to plan the goal, how to take the baby steps through it, and how to realize our goals in a timely manner and not just whenever it happens. Living a life without setting goals is like sailing a ship without planning a course. You can end up somewhere that you don't want to be, where you didn't want to go. Goals are what activate your dreams. If you don't say your goal and write down your goal, you don't start activating that dream and where you want to go. Research has proven that there's a direct link between goal setting and improved business, finance management, and even weight loss. So I'm going to challenge you to follow this plan today. And at the end, I'm going to have a big challenge for you. What is a goal? A goal is the desired result of what we envision. And what are the steps? First, we have to identify it with the vision. And then we have to say our goal. But more than that, we need to write it down. If we write it down, it becomes tangible. And we can start our goal. We want to see what our future is going to look like. Consider what you want to achieve in a lifetime when you're picking a goal. When we choose our goals, we want to write it down in something called the SMART goal method. We're going to write down everything. We're going to say SMART, S-M-A-R-T. It's, I can't remember the word. No, dumb. Okay. But the letters stand for S, set specific goals. The goals need to be clear and well-defined. They have to show you precisely where you want to end up. They need to be M, measurable. You can't just say, oh, someday I want to be the CEO of the company. Well, how do you want to do that? When do you want to do that? How can you measure it? How do you get there? You're the box boy at the grocery store. Sorry, it's not happening that way. You need to include precise amounts, dates, so you can measure the degree of your success. You need to set A, attainable goals. Are they attainable? We sometimes have impossible dreams. We think we can do anything. And I am definitely one of those. I think I can do anything that I set my mind to, and I just assume that I can. But sometimes we can get just a little far beyond ourselves. And it can become overwhelming because we haven't given it the thought that we needed to make it achievable and attainable. So what you want to do is you want to get something that you can put a little effort in, or a little more effort, or a lot of effort, and a little bit of risk. But you don't want to choose something that's way too easy for you either. You want to choose something that makes you feel good, that makes you feel like you're challenged, and that you can get to your goal. You want to set relevant goals. Your goals have to be important to the direction of your life. Now that's, I think, the most important thing, because if you don't know what direction your life is going, you can't have relevant goals. You have to think about where that end point is. Now, and I'm not talking about just in business or in your career. I'm talking about in your spiritual life, your spiritual goals. I'm talking about your personal life, with your family, with your friends, your social goals, your hobbies. All of these things are goals that we need to set to increase our feeling of that we're getting on the journey and we're going a little farther. And finally, we need to set time-bound goals. They have to have a deadline. Now, we don't want to really just set goals that in 20 years I'm going to do such and such. Oh my God, we're going to forget all about that. Most goals that you want to set between 6 and 12 months. Because if you set them between 6 and 12 months, you feel like you can make it. You only have a couple more months, just a few more months, and maybe at a year. And even if you don't make it, you can always reevaluate and change your goals. So when you do this SMART model, it not only helps you define your goals, but it helps you focus on your individual steps that'll drive you forward. And you won't be overwhelmed by thinking, oh my God, I don't have a way to get to my goal, and you're all over the place. So the second thing you have to do after you identify it with your vision and you say your goal, you need to plan to get to that goal. And that's where your objectives come in. You don't just say, I'm going to write a book and a mystery novel, and I'm going to send it off to the publisher in 12 months, next December 28th. Well, how are you going to do that? You may need to set up you have to set up objectives. You have to say, okay, well, I'm going to take little pieces of it, and I'm going to first figure out what I want to write about. I want to first get the plot. Then that's 10 minutes. Okay, so we need to get the objectives, develop clear, specific statements that we can accomplish. We want to have an action plan and describe in little baby steps how we're going to meet those objectives and how we're going to measure them. You need to suppose during this action plan that there's going to be obstacles. You're going to have obstacles, and you need to plan for the obstacles, and you have to figure out solutions along the way. I'm going to get burned out, I'm going to get too tired, I'm going to just not write for about a month, I'm going to take some time off and go on vacation. Well, you have to find out what you're going to do. Maybe you get a mentor, maybe you find some support group, support network, maybe you get some kind of materials that inspire you. Whatever you do, you find the solutions. You need to set up timelines, establish the priority for the tasks, and set that priority and follow it that way, because you can't complete some objectives until you complete other objectives first. When we make checklists, that's what we do. We check off this and this and this, and then we get to our final end result. Make a checklist of your tasks and your goals, and check them off a little at a time. It'll make you feel good. And when you do that, celebrate your success, even if it's the most minute little thing. Then finally, you want to follow up. No matter what you do, you're going to follow up regularly and make sure that you're staying on track, and you're going to make yourself accountable. You have to be accountable for what you're doing and that you're going somewhere. So now, I want you to question, probe, and investigate. You're going to choose 3 goals. That's pretty much the power of 3, as we say in Toastmasters. You want to choose 3 goals. You don't want them all to be business goals or all to be hobbies and fun things that you want to do. You want them to be spread across your life, maybe the most important ones. So be sure that you decide. Do you want to go somewhere on a journey spiritually? Do you want to go somewhere on a journey with your friends and family? Do you want to buy a new house? Do you want to get your finances in order? Whatever it is. The ABCs of goal setting are just that, but they're sort of backwards. First, you can pick a comfortable goal that you don't have to do very much and you can get there. You don't get a lot of success from it. Second, you can pick a believable goal. You believe in yourself, you take some risk, you have to put in some effort, and you get there with some effort and you feel successful when you finish. And finally, you can take the A goal, which is the awesome goal. You put in a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of thought, and when you reach your goal, you celebrate heartily, like on New Year's Eve. Kiss everybody. There's a lot of goal-setting don'ts. Don't set unrealistic goals. Don't focus on too few areas of your life. Don't underestimate how long it's going to take you, because there's always going to be obstacles. Don't dismiss the benefits of failure, and that's important. If you fail, that's the only way that you get better and you get on your path to success. Don't listen to other people's goals for you. Don't neglect the follow-up. It's very important. And don't set negative goals. Instead of saying, I'm going to lose weight, say, I will be healthy by the end of February. All right, so you can read the rest of this. In the meantime, I have a goal-setting worksheet I want everybody to please pass around. And I'm going to ask you to figure out a goal in your mind, just one. This is going to be a New Year's resolution that you are going to follow through with.
Not smoking.
On your worksheet that you're going to get, if everybody will pass it quickly, you're going to write today's date. You're going to write a 1 to 2 sentence SMART goal. Remember, look at your notes. They have to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. And I'm going to run over, so I'm going to miss my goal. So failure. Next time, I will make it. That wasn't me, Mike. Okay, does everybody have their papers?
Yes.
Okay, first, write today's date. You need a starting point, and then you're also going to need an end point. So today's date is important. This is the first day of the rest of your goal.
The rest of my life.
Write your SMART goal within just like a minute. Everybody's been thinking, what do they want to do? Make it positive. I will do it, because then you have to. Not I might want to make a garden. I might, that's not it. You need to say I will. Be powerful. Make it a powerful statement. Now all the rest of the little questions are, what will you accomplish? Be specific. How will you measure it? Is your goal attainable? How and why is your goal important to you? It has to be relevant. And when will you complete your goal? So I want you to just sort of read through that. And at the end, I want you to write, when will your goal be completed? Is it going to take 3 months, 6 months, a year? Put a date on there. Today's December 16th. Put a date on it. Then I want you to make an action plan. Your objectives. And then also some possible obstacles and a solution for any obstacles that you might think could come up. You're going to check your progress and amend your objectives how often? Once a week, every Sunday night, every morning when the alarm goes off and you're going through your peace moves. And then, do you have any support people that are going to be necessary for it? And when you finish that, I want you to sign it at the bottom. This means that you're motivated and you're going to do it. And I want you to have someone witness it. Put it next to them. Why is that? Because it shows that you're committed and motivated, and it holds you accountable for your progress. Chances are you're all going to live through 2015. It could be just like last year, or it could be better. It could be extraordinary. The choice is yours, because today, Lamar, it is all about you.
Thank you, Diane. We have 1 minute for evaluations. You have one question? Okay, we'll talk. Yeah, I know. Totally.
That I will happily take these.
I hope so, but it's very possible that I could not do that. I thought, I had planned on having it done by the end of the year, but we're getting close to the end of the year, I'm not done this year.
1 minute off, I guess.
Yes.
I
No,
think.
yeah.
Pay attention.
Yes.
Perfect, perfect.
Okay.
We have an extremely very tight agenda. We're very much behind, so I am going to move on to our second part of the meeting, which is dedicated to our table topic portion. This portion is where members are chosen randomly by our table topic master to give roughly 30 to 60 seconds respond to question posed. This morning, our table topic master is Ernst.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow members, and honored guests. This is time to learn and embellish your impromptu speaking skills on subjects you may not necessarily know. Next Tuesday, I am leaving for Germany for a clandestine mission of heavy drinking and eating. And I will be back on the 5th of January. Hopefully my goal has been already exceeded. Germany has a population of 80 million people. It's one of the largest countries in Europe, and it has a parliamentary republic and 16 constituent states, which means they have limited power. The capital is Berlin. There were 2 American presidents who were very instrumental in getting the country united again. John F. Kennedy, standing at the Berlin Wall in 1963, said, "Ich bin ein Berliner." Why was the Berlin Wall there? Anyways, Gus!
I believe that was a clandestine question. I'm not a great historian, but I would just say the wall was built there to divide the communist people from democratic people in that part of the world, Mr. Puppet Master.
Very well said. Thank you very much. I know we have only one question.
Thank you, Ernst.
Great job.
Loud noises before we introduce our third party of the meeting. So we said eating greens, we say kissing at midnight, and the last one is loud noises. Make some noises when New Year's come. This will scare the evil spirits from entering their life in the new next year. We now move to the third party part of the meeting, devoted to our evaluations. Please help me welcome our general evaluator this morning, Erika Benfield.
As General Evaluator, I will be introducing those that are very important and beneficial part of the meeting, which is the education portion. I would like to introduce our first evaluator, evaluating Lamar's icebreaker speech, Kerri B.
Toastmaster Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Lamar. This was your icebreaker, and it was fantastic. It was really good. You were very well prepared. You have a really nice presence, a good speaking voice, and a really good sense of humor. And liked the setup where you got everybody involved, and I especially even liked the end where you turned that statement back onto your girlfriend that you had been hearing from all your previous girlfriends. One of the things that I think you can work on is, first, obviously you didn't need any notes. You could have moved the lectern so that you were a little bit farther back. what happened, especially since I was sitting on this side, is when you were up here, you would walk to the side, you completely turned your back, versus kind of maybe sidestepping a little bit so that you didn't completely turn your back to the audience. The other thing that I noticed for you to work on is your eye contact. It seemed like you were looking down quite a bit and not necessarily looking up at people and actually making eye contact. And I don't know, that's pretty much it. I just really liked your speech.
Speech. I would next like to introduce evaluating speaker number 2, Martin Bell, with Habits of 2015, Miss Julia Kaufman.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests, and especially Martin. Martin, this is not any clandestine speech. He's working on project number 6, which is vocal variety. Your vocal variety in this speech for this crowd was good. Wasn't great, but it was good. I rated you a B+ because you had, I rated you probably pretty much excellent on most areas, with the exception of some of the areas for loud and soft. So I really want you to work on vocal variety because you've got, when you started, it was a little bit flat. And then it brought in some vocal variety to the middle section. But it just started at this level, and you could have come up with, hello, Toastmasters! We're going to talk about habits for 2015. So we've got to really bring it in with some loud in the beginning. I liked your eye contact. You really had the whole audience. Your speech and the topic of what you were talking about was relevant, and you pulled everybody in, especially with eye contact. You got in from the lectern. You had a little bit of shifting, so you could start to have more purposeful movements as you work on your vocal variety to really grab the audience. You repeated one phrase for an example of getting loud. You mentioned a usual manner of behavior regularly followed, and then you repeated it, and you used the same level voice. So you could have said, a usual manner of behavior, really got loud with it to make it sink in. The same token, you could have gotten soft when you mentioned, I'm children. You repeated it. So that's a couple examples. I really enjoyed your speech. The topic, everything was pitch perfect. Use a little bit more vocal variety, especially in a larger crowd, and repeat the speech again because you have a good message. I'd love to hear it, especially in a bigger audience. Thank you.
Now, I would like to introduce our third evaluator, evaluating goal setting and planning by Diane Manikowski, Mike Hughes.
We know the deal. Sometimes I swear the gods of the evaluation hate me, but I come here and they prove me right. So, in a clandestine manner, I'm going to try to keep this under. Never mind. Born, not made. Absolutely true. But, is it though? Can they be made? Do we want to be a leader? Well, some do, some don't. And what would be done? All right, babe, let's just cut down the shit. Whatever. A great message, but you had 10 pounds of crap into 3-pound bag. We need to get that down to we need the power of 3, not the power of 50. We can read the handout, we got all that, everything was good. Don't read your notes, we know that. Didn't have any visual aids, that's fine, you got these things perfect, we can read that too. Stay on time, great info, and my time's up.
Okay. Now it's time for our technical table because we still have some more time to make up. I would like to first introduce our timer, Habib.
Lamar, great job with the timing. So you had between 4 and 6 minutes, and you got it in 5 minutes and 18 seconds. Martin, just over 7 minutes 41. Okay, so you had 7 minutes.
Come on.
I tried to be nice. 17 minutes and 5 seconds.
Oh,
Gus, 17 seconds.
seconds a minute.
Kerri, a minute 19. Julia just made it 2 minutes 6 seconds, and Mike 56 seconds.
Bam.
Anybody who did not use all their time, it will be waived as a thing of trouble today. Okay, next I would like to introduce our grammarian. I'm drawing a blank. Nicole.
First, I will share with you who used the word of the day, and then I'll comment on some interesting use of the English language. So Alexandra, Ernst, Diane, Gus, Julia, Mike Hughes, and Lori. Anyone else I didn't? Okay. And then so Alexandra, you said eating beans brings good look. I like, Martin, how you use the phrase "I'm chillin'." Diane, you said children to look at you and be a successful parent. And you also said we are going to forget about it. I thought you were from the north. Mike, I liked how you said the gods of the evaluation hate me.
Fantastic. Last but not least, our counter, Lori Richards.
Nicole, 1 Hadi, 2 us, 1 1 so, Lamar, I think you're icebreaker, so I don't believe that you're
Not fine.
3 us, 2 1 like, 3 so's, 1 and a double clutch. Marty, 2 us, 2 you knows, 3 so's, 5 ands, 2 tongue clicks. Diane, 2 us, 1 1 so, 1 but, 2 ands, 2 tongue clicks, 3 double clutches. Sorry. Alexandra, 4 us. Kerri, 1 1 but, 1 and, 1 tongue click, 1 double clutch. Julia, 1 1 tongue click, 1 double clutch, and Mike, 1 and.
Fantastic. Infraction, pay 5 cents to Diane. Those that missed the word of the day, it's 25 cents. Lamar, you're excused because it was your icebreaker speech. My thoughts on the meeting: as general evaluator, I have a clandestine process of observing the meeting. The Toastmaster started on time and did her best to keep us ahead. The theme was well prepared and thought through with enough time that the speeches complemented the theme. So when you present your theme a week prior, it gives the speakers an opportunity to complement what you choose. Observations on the meeting was the raffle box when tickets were missing, just an observation. It happens, but we pulled it off and that's all that matters.
Get tickets.
I would like to suggest for all speakers, because it can happen to anyone, to just continue to practice their time management when we have a full agenda. And the educational portion of the meeting is why we're here, to get that feedback to help us improve. So although we have an infraction today that has put a little unnecessary stress on us all, it's for us to all support that person so that in the next speech they can improve. And there's areas for all of us to improve on. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. I will say this. The form that she passed out today will be used on the evaluations that I have scheduled already for all my employees. So there is a benefit. You might save somebody's job. I would like to ask a very special guest to speak and give us, hopefully under 30 seconds, words of wisdom. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much. This is a special award for Stephanie. Of course, you must have a whole house full of these things, I imagine, right? For volunteerism, I can't talk this morning. Volunteerism Chair, District 84, 2013 and 2014.
Aww.
There we go.
We did a picture after the
There you go.
meeting.
This is what you guys to know, a lot of you know that this is my first club in 2009. I don't know if I'd ever come back again because you guys are tough evaluators. But you guys are doing really good though. My home club right now, we're kind of struggling. We were at the Court and all at 6:15 on Monday night. Now we're at ITT Tech. If any of you guys ever want to pop over there, and we're ITT Tech is just down the road. Yeah. But yeah, come on, join us.
By the way, who are you?
I am the area governor, Area 70 governor.
That's our area governor.
Stephanie knows what those are. She's done one of those things before. And
We got other area governors in here, right?
we do.
No, past one. Julie's a past one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Julie.
Okay. Well, great club.
Suzanne is not the area
Suzanne? Where's Suzanne? Oh, she's not here.
She's not a member.
But we'll see each other again at the training on January 10th.
10th, right? Correct.
All right,
Right.
there's a form. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hang out. Hopefully you can stay with us to the end of the meeting. I want to point out that some of you may or may not get this magazine in the mail. It's called Toastmasters. This is the November issue. And on the back, it's got some great articles. This one talks about Michael Flynn. He's the White House speechwriter. And on page 29, I found it interesting that I highlighted this prior to the meeting. But they do a question and answer segment on him. And what are 3 things that you should never do in a speech writing business? Number 1, never miss a deadline. Number 2, never take an edit personally. So when you get those feedbacks, those little commentaries, don't take them personal at all. That's very important. And never use more words than you need. I want to have our governor pull the raffle ticket. Does anyone else want to partake in that today?
Yes. Tickets, right?
Yes.
$90.
Okay, so give your money to Gus while I do one more important act of business. Lamar, I would like to invite you up, please.
Lamar.
I've seen a lot of icebreaker speeches, and the icebreaker is the most important because it's never forgotten. It's the act of the most courageous thing you can do, which is put yourself out there and talk about who you are, which most people don't like to do. So with that, I'd like to present to you the icebreaker ribbon.
Great, thank you.
And let's see.
Let me see if I can.
Heart palpitations, here we go. Big money.
2300698.
Who that?
That's me.
698.